This Polish-style hunter stew is so delicious and comforting. Here's the ingredients. I start with 1 large link of nitrate-free smoked kielbasa, 3 slices of uncured chopped bacon, about 2 pounds of pork butt or pork shoulder. Venison can also be used in place of the pork. 1 large onion diced and 3 cloves of garlic. Minced. I have 5 cups of homemade chicken stock. Any broth or stock will work. For the seasonings, 1 tablespoon of smoked paprika, about 1/4 teaspoon of cracked black pepper, 1 teaspoon of dried basil, and 1 tablespoon of juniper berries. The juniper berries are optional, but they do add great flavor to the stew. I do have 1/2 teaspoon of salt, but you can choose to leave the salt out because the kielbasa, bacon, and sauerkraut are really salty. I use 2 large tablespoons of tomato paste, 1 tablespoon of mustard, 1 cup of fire roasted tomatoes, 1 pound of fermented cabbage or sauerkraut, 4 cups or 1 really small head of organic cabbage chopped into bite-sized pieces, a few dashes of Worcester sauce, 1 cup of organic red wine, preferably dry wine. You can also use 1 cup of beer instead. I chop about 15 prunes, just cutting them in half. Over medium-high to high heat, put the bacon into the bottom of a Dutch oven. Fry it until it's crisp, and then transfer it to a small bowl and set it aside until later. Next, add the pork and sear it on all sides until a nice crust forms, flipping it until all sides are seared. It's up to you if you salt the meat, but remember the other meats we added are very salty. You can just add black pepper if you choose. You may need to hold it on its side to sear the edges depending on what cut of meat you choose. Remove the pork, and now it's time to deglaze the pan by adding the wine. Start adding the rest of the ingredients to the pan. Add the tomato paste, the diced tomatoes, the Worcester sauce, the mustard, add all of the seasonings, add the broth or stock, stir it well to combine. Leave the heat on because you want this to bring the liquid up to a simmer. Add the sauerkraut. You can choose to rinse and drain the sauerkraut, but I just put it in without rinsing. Return the pork to the pot and nestle it down under the liquid. Next, add the onions, add the kielbasa, the prunes, and lastly, add the cabbage. And try to just push the ingredients in so it's mostly covered with the liquid. You don't have to worry too much about the cabbage being pushed into the liquid as long as the meat is covered. Add the cooked bacon back to the top. And then let the liquid and all the ingredients come to a gentle boil or simmer and get hot. Next, cover the pot and put it into a preheated 350-degree oven for about 2.5 to 3 hours. It's done cooking when most of the liquid has reduced and the pork is falling apart. Shred the pork into chunks and remove any bones if you have any. Let it rest for up to an hour with the cover off before serving. The flavors are better that way. From what I hear, most people wait to eat it until the following day. We couldn't resist and dove right in. The flavor of this stew is amazing. For details and a printable version of this recipe and many more, head on over to the blog simplyeatathome.com. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit the like button, and subscribe to my email list on the blog to receive a free recipe via email each week. If you make it, leave a comment below. I would love to know what you think.